What's up YouTube, this is AC3KGT, and just to let you know, I'm picking up my engine block today and from the machinist, so that's good. And they were complaining like those pistons, I had to take a lot out. I was like, yeah, those pistons are 40 thousandths over, of course you had to take a lot out. It's like, and I've also been doing a little bit of cleanup work on my old intake manifold. I'm going to, because I want to get this car done before the IFO in January. It may or may not happen, but I'm going to try to give it my best shot here. But if it doesn't happen, screw it, I was going to do what I was going to do. But I decided I was going to reuse my old intake manifold. Plus, I don't even know what kind of gains I got off the intake manifold, because I never dynoed the car because I knew I was going to basically pull the engine out and disassemble it and rebuild it. So I don't even know if I got any gains out of my old intake manifold. This intake manifold has never been tested. So with that, I did a little bit of clean work on it. I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. And I'll show you the actual intake manifold that it came off the car. And show you where I did a little bit of cleanup work on it. Alright, this right here is my old intake manifold. And give you the walk around on it real quick. Where here's where I was doing a little bit of cleanup work on it. Just trying to get the casting line out of it better than it was. That's the original throttle body that came off of it. It's a 90mm billet throttle body. And the car ran really well with this setup, but I was gonna try to get as much horsepower as I can, but honestly, I think I want to give it a shot and see if I can get my goals with 300 wheel horsepower with this intake manifold. And then if I want to go a little higher, I'll just swap it out for the intake manifold I was wanting to build in the first place, including the ITB manifold. There you go. I was cleaning up some of the casting lines on this side too, and doing a little repolishing because it had gotten dirty sitting up under the hood of the car. So with that, that's the old intake manifold. Turn you guys around. So as you guys know, I'm pretty freaking excited to go ahead and get my engine block. That means it's one step closer to getting this engine done. I still have to get the crank polished and balanced before I reassemble the bottom end. So I still have to wait for that. Hopefully it won't be too long. I should be able to cover it this time around and go ahead and get that done. A couple of days later, bring it back, start reassembling the bottom end. With that, on to the video. Also, I wanted to go ahead and say that I've noticed I've got a couple more subscribers. I know this channel is small and I'm not exactly a really good video editor, so sorry, I'm more better at doing the mechanical side of things. I am editing my own videos, so I mean, my man is in the island to himself. But I appreciate you guys have signed up. And I'm probably the only guy doing any kind of real 3000 GT content. Especially, I mean, some of the guys that got done with the builds and sold the car. But me, I don't plan on selling this car. I've already done too much, so the value's probably completely trash because it's going to be so highly modified. So this is my forever car and it's going to stay with me. And I'm going to try to keep, iterating on it, modifying stuff like that, because this is not the end to the build. This is basically only the beginning, so there's a lot of stuff to do. So part of my plans for the future is I'm going to recreate my entire dash. I'm going to pull the old dash out, take my measurements and stuff like that. I'm going to buy me an English wheel. If you ever don't know what that is, an English wheel is a machine that allows you to do complex bends. And I plan on creating my own dash and center console for the car, along with some new flooring and stuff like that in the car, and weld it in. And then try to clean up a little bit, make it where it looks like a complete car, even though it's mostly just sheet metal and stuff like that. And I want to get my dash either flocked or recovered in some other material like Alcantara or something like that. Because what I wanted to do with this car is more of a race car build, a GT car. We'll say like the JGTC. I've also thought I want to get this English wheel because I'm really considering doing my own wide body kit. Taking the fenders, measuring off some of the side and getting some angles and stuff like that, and creating my own over fenders with this English wheel. The English wheel is the old school way of doing things. You'll see a lot of guys, if you ever watched West Coast Customs, but it's like the Orange County motorcycles. The guy uses an English wheel to make his gas tanks. It's going to be like that. Well, it might be an old school way of doing your own dash and stuff like that, because most people would just have their old one wrapped in carbon. I want to try to create my own dash from scratch. My own flooring, maybe like almost like a fake tubbing in the back where it goes over the wheels. You know, like you see in drag cars when they tub a car, the big drag wheels. But it's mostly going to be there to clean it up, to make it look like a complete build. And maybe, just maybe, I don't know how long it's going to take. So, especially with once the engine's done, I think a lot of the sheet metal working and stuff like that is going to be much cheaper. So I should be able to get more of it done faster. My only problem is I really need to get me a TIG welder. Really need to get me a TIG welder. So I can do TIG. I've done TIG, stick, MIG, and I've even done brazing where you take your oxyacetylene torch and you weld things with like a little copper filler rod. Done that, so I mean, I'm familiar with welding and stuff, but a good welding machine is expensive. So forgive me for that, because it's not just a welding machine. It's also the argon gas canisters that you need to make sure you get a good weld. The only welding machine I have right now is an old crappy Harbor Freight flux cord freaking welder. So it's not a very good welder for doing what I want to do. So I want to get me a new TIG welder. I really want a TIG welder. Get all the gas stuff set up so I can create my own dash and make it look really nice. Because what I want to do is take the original measurements of the dash, just mark it out on a thin piece of sheet metal or aluminum. I might even do aluminum, and cut it out and leave a space for the dash, like the little bubble, by cutting it out into like a semicircle and the same diameter. Then take the English wheel and kind of round the dash. Well, it's good. The metal is going to be used for the dash, and then round the other smaller place, cut it out in almost like a half egg, and weld and have that bubble there, and then weld that part to the new dash, and then try to fit it into the car. And I might go ahead and take it out and put the roll cage in there and leave it out for now, and then put the new dash in. And then for the center console, I'm going to do it in like 2 pieces. Well, the front of the dash is going to be part of the dash that goes down to the original center console and curves like this, and curves. Get the English wheel and make that curve, and then make your 2 side pieces, and then go all the way to the back with the English wheel. Finish off the curve, go all the way to the back seat where it would be. Finish off the center console between the 2 seats and attach it to the back seat by welding it in. And then start with that, and then make a new trunk panel, like your tubs and stuff like that, because I want to put a fuel cell in the trunk and have it somewhere safe to bolt to. And I kind of want to do a firewall too, but what I want to do with the firewall is make your back panel and cut out a space for the Lexan window so you can actually see out of the back, all the while still protecting you from fire with some Lexan glass or something like that, which basically just plastic, and cut it out so you can still back up the car while seeing it, but you'll actually have some protection in there in case you happen to get nailed in the back. And it'll look kind of cool because it'll be like, instead of being what used to be a 4-seater, it'll look like a 2-seater with a firewall in it. It'll look like it's made to be a 2-seater. Which, in my opinion, I think the 3000 GT should have never been made as a 4-seater. I know it's a GT car, it's a Grand Tour. But those back seats are freaking useless. They're only there for insurance purposes. Like, look, I have a 4-seater, so you get cheaper insurance. That's literally it. So I'm going to try to make it as a cleanly made 2-seater. The way it should have been. And just make the cargo area a little bit flatter so you can put the fuel cell in there, put a firewall in there, and then weld that all together, and I'll have a 2-seater with a firewall between you and the gas tank, which would be, and I want to drop that old nasty gas tank out of the back, put me a new fuel cell in it, an aluminum fuel cell, have it strapped down to the floor plan with some bracing and stuff like that in the floor pan to keep it from flexing, and then put an external fuel pump, because I would like for it to be easier to work on too. Because this is my car, and if I can make it a little bit easier to work on, I'll do it. Where if you ever have a fuel problem, the fuel pump is right there. It goes where you just take your shit loose, take your plug loose, take your fuel pump out if it's bad, put a new fuel pump in. So that, we're going to continue on with the video. I'm not breaking up this video a little bit, but I want to explain to you guys that I have a lot of plans for the build, but never enough money. But I'm working on it. That's why I said this is going to be a slow build, so forgive me. I will being up front. This is going to be a slower build. It's a progress build because I only have so much money and I don't have any sponsors, so there's nothing I can do about that except work hard. And trust me, I work at about 110, 120 hours a week. Every 2 weeks, that's how many hours I'm working to make sure this build gets done. So, you know, forgive me for that. And I didn't want any, well, first off, I can't even monetize the channel because it is too small. That's why, I mean, I'd like to have some subscribers, but I'm not demanding more subscribers. You know, obviously, 3000 GT is kind of forgotten platform. And so almost every single 3000 GT channel stays relatively small. So, I mean, that's just a problem with having this particular platform. So there's nothing really I can do about it except continue to put out videos. Maybe continue to talk about the platform on other channels. I know I hate doing that, but it worked. I went on Bladed Angel's channel and I said to somebody like, hey, you know what, I got some 3000 GT content, so I love the 3000 GT, and I do. I wouldn't be spending all this much time and effort on it if I didn't. And next thing you know, I got 3 more subscribers on the same on that day, or like within a day or so. Like, well, obviously it worked. I mean, we're supposed to be like a car community anyway, right? Supposed to support each other. You know, I go in your videos, I talk, and give you more interaction, so your video gets put on the algorithm. And maybe some guys hook up to my channel like, hey, look, this guy's actually doing a build. He's kind of small, but you know, we'll subscribe to him and see what he's got going on. So I appreciate you guys for doing that. I don't have any merch right now or anything like that. I'm really, really small and I don't really see point to do that right now. But so if the more subscribers I get, the more I'm going to consider doing some merch and stuff like that, because I don't even know what kind of theme for the build I want to do. Like, I know the Booster Boys have the moon tune for their MR2. I'm like, okay, but it's just me, and I don't know what this car is going to do once I get it done. I might think of a name for the car once I get that done and get an idea for how this car is going to act, and it's going to be like its attitude in the way. Because otherwise, this was just a regular old street car. I mean, it was already quick, and I love the takeoff power and stuff like that on it, but this is something completely different now. This engine is nothing on this engine is stock. It's getting cams, 272 cams, springs and retainers, 12.5 to 1 pistons that are one offset. There's like 2 of them that were made from 3SX. Eric Bowling was the other guy who made them. His was only 11 to 1, so technically this might actually be the only set. It's getting BC 625 rods, so they're lightweight rods, billet aluminum pistons, 272 cams, springs and retainers, Ferrea oversized valves, getting SuperTech valve stem seals. It's getting a BC bronze valve guides. I just got those in a couple of days ago too. It's also getting an aluminum flywheel, and it's a lot of stuff going in this engine. Poured and polished heads, and a bored out block, 40 over. And apparently the crank is also going to be polished and balanced at the same time. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of money. I think I put in $15,000 in this engine with no sponsors. You know, I think most of you guys would be hard pressed to throw $15,000 at an engine with no sponsors. So yes, it's going to take a long time because I don't have all the money in the world. I get do things when I can. Well, I don't have sponsors to just hurl parts at me. Here, take my free parts. Trust me, I would appreciate it, but for one, there's not that many people making 3000 GT parts either. So they kind of have the market cornered, and they can charge whatever they want. It's like I've seen people complaining about Lancer Evo camshafts, and I looked at the price for camshafts for Lancer Evo 272 camshafts. They're only $400. I'm like, bro, y'all ain't got nothing to complain about. A set of cams for 3000 GT is $1,000. No, I have no complaint. It's like the springs and retainers are $600. The valves are $800. The freaking stem seal is like $120. The pistons were $965. $1,000 fucking dollars. The BC 65 rods were like $700. It's like, bro, y'all had no reason to complain with these Evos. Oh, my build is so expensive. Bro, your lead build is less than half of mine. You know, like, I know I'm going on a little bit of rant there, but I'm kind of excited, but at the same time, y'all understand this is a lot of pain, too. So, I'll see you guys later. So, I want to give you guys, like, the tour of the parts going in, because I know some of y'all know y'all seen them. I know I told you guys just a second ago, but I'll let you see the parts. No kidding. there was more parts there that I didn't mention, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you now. So here you go. You got your 3/6 adjustable cam gears, your BC valve guides. This is for intake and exhaust. These are springs and retainers. The SuperTech valve stem seals are in here for oversized intake and exhaust valves. These are the BC 272 cams, or the Stage 2 Plus cams. The Ross Racing pistons. These are the 12.5-to-1 pistons that are bored 40, that are size 40 over than stock. Then you have your BC 625 rods and your Fidanza aluminum flywheel. Let's see over here. Yep, our room is kind of a mess because guess what? The engine is built in here. This place used to be a garage, but it's not anymore. Let me go ahead and turn this off for a second. Alright, so we're here. That's the valve, and then I did some porting work on the heads. And then to clean, I did a little bit of cleanup work on these right here. These are here used to be white along the lettering. I went ahead and just took that and took a file and filed all that off and repainted the rear ones. It's going to be a lot of work to put it all back together. Here's how I have my table set up. These are in line. I actually labeled them here. I don't plan on keeping the valve springs and keepers, so they're going away. But everything else was put in the way it came out, with rear to front. Rear to front, rear to front, rear to front. So I'll know exactly where they go back. Here's my old crank. This thing here has got to be has to be polished and balanced. This rear main, I'm probably going to reuse it again. This rear main was brand new when I put it in. I put it in less than a year ago. So I don't see a reason to replace that. And over here, that oil pump's going away. There's that water pump. It's brand new. The water pump is right there. Water pump was done less than a year ago, so I'm probably gonna reuse it. I don't see a reason why not. Plus, it'll save me a little bit of money for the build. So with that being said, I'll turn you guys around. So with that being said, that's where I'm at right now. I know this place is a mess. You try building a engine in a garage. So let's go ahead and carry on with the video. And I know I keep coming back, but I'm excited, and the boss coming into the day. I got my engine stand over here, and once I get it back, I'll put it back on the engine stand, and it'll sit there until I get my crank back. And I'll show you guys how much has been bored out. I'll probably even paint it for you. So, and I'll put that on video. I'm not exactly sure what color I want to paint it. I don't want to do too much red. Though I might just do like black or maybe even yellow. Who the fuck knows? But or it's maybe black or maybe blue. No, it'll clash too much with the yellow car. It's a freaking yellow car. I don't know. Probably just black. And then paint the valley yellow. So, because you're not gonna see that anyway. So anyway, peace out. So what's up, YouTube? I got back from the machine shop and I had my engine block, and I'll go ahead and show you the engine block. So as you know, I went ahead and had it bored. It got bored 40 over, and here we go. And I'm probably going to do some painting and stuff like that pretty soon. They said they had to take a lot out, of course, because the pistons are bored 40 or size 40 thousandths over. And here you go, nice. See, there's still light meat here, but I don't know how much in between the water jacketing. So, got it. So yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done, but I'm making headway as much as I possibly can, so bear with me here. And, oh yeah, here you go. I want to show you something real quick. So, just to let you know, I checked my piston ring gap, and yes, the piston rings are going to have to be filed. You need like a 20 thousandths gap for these, for my pistons, because the piston rings, because the pistons are going to grow a little bit bigger than your average cast piston. So did some calculations. It should be around 20 thousandths, like 19.6 or something like that. So I'm like 20 thousandths should be enough. But just to let you know, they're nowhere near that. They're pretty much closed already. So they're going to have to be ground down. So I got to go get me a piston grinder eventually and get that done. Grind a little bit of material off the piston rings, and then sink these piston rings in here. So unfortunately, that doesn't have to be the case. Oh well. Alright, so if you didn't know how to check your piston ring gap, I'll show you how it's done. Here you go. So first off, you take and you insert your piston ring into the cylinder like this. Then take your piston, seat it in here. take your piston and you seat in here and you make sure that it's relatively even across. Right here, right there. It should be pretty even across that first ring land. That's what I'm going to use. It's the first ring land. Then you take your piston out, and you take yourself one of these. I know most of you guys probably know what a freaking feeler gauge is, but here you go. This is a 20 thousandths feeler gauge, and you can see there is almost no gap in here. It's right here is a gap. It's completely closed. So there's no way this is going to fit in here. So this right here has got to be ground down. Like, that's not even close. There's like no light in there at all. Let me see what the actual clearance is, so we can get a better reading on what it actually is. I'm betting it's in the single digits of clearance, if that. So what do we got here? Oh, screw. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put you down. I'm going to get the feeler gauge set up. Alright, I'm pretty sure it's going to wind up being closer to this, which is about, let's see, 15 thousandths clearance. And right here, yeah, it fits in here, so you got only 15 thousandths of clearance. It needs to be, actually no, that's actually double. Let me, alright, let's get this over again. Here we go. This is the 15 thousandths one. Here, or 1 thousandths. It's, yeah, 1 thousandths clearance. Well, 1 5 thousandths clearance. Right here is the gap. Yeah, that's about all you're going to be able to get in there. Let me go try the 2-1, see if I can't get in there. I have a 2 thousandths clearance one, and here's the gap. I know it's hard to see, but yeah, it's about 2 thousandths clearance. That's all you got in there. It needs to be like 20 thousandths clearance in there. So definitely got to be expanded out a little bit, because that ring is pretty much closed. So it's got to have a little bit more gap in there. So again, I showed you what I'm showing you what I'm talking about, and it's got to have some changes to it. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.